Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Something that resembles a flowing stream in moving continuously. The museum had planned carefully for the flow of visitors. Fall or flow in a certain way. Her long black hair flowed down her back. The monthly discharge of blood from the uterus of non-pregnant women from puberty to menopause. The semen begins to appear in males and to be emitted at the same time of life that the catamenia begin to flow in females. Move or progress freely as if in a stream. The crowd flowed out of the stadium. The amount of fluid that flows in a given time. Dominant course, suggestive of running water, of successive events or ideas. The flow of thought. The motion characteristic of fluids, liquids or gases. Undergo menstruation. The act of flowing or streaming, continuous progression. Move along, of liquids. Water flowed into the cave. Any uninterrupted stream or discharge. Be abundantly present. The champagne flowed at the wedding. Cause to flow. The artist flowed the washes on the paper. Cover or swamp with water. Something that resembles a flowing stream in moving continuously. A stream of people emptied from the terminal. A steady flow of a fluid, usually from natural causes. The raft floated downstream on the current. Rain heavily. Flow freely and abundantly. Tears streamed down her face. Dominant course, suggestive of running water, of successive events or ideas. Two streams of development run through American history. Move in large numbers. The act of flowing or streaming, continuous progression. A natural body of running water flowing on or under the earth. Exude profusely. She was streaming with sweat. To extend, wave or float outward, as if in the wind. Their manes streamed like stiff black pennants in the wind. Move downward and lower, but not necessarily all the way. The barometer is falling. The act of surrendering, usually under agreed conditions. Come into the possession of. When a wrestler's shoulders are forced to the mat. Fall from clouds. Rain, snow and sleet were falling. Lose an upright position suddenly. A sudden decline in strength or number or importance. The fall of the House of Habsburg. Fall or flow in a certain way. Fall to somebody by assignment or lot. A sudden sharp decrease in some quantity. When that became known, the price of their stock went into free fall. A free and rapid descent by the force of gravity. Touch or seem as if touching visually or audibly. Decrease in size, extent, or range. Come as if by falling. A downward slope or bend. The season when the leaves fall from the trees. In the fall of 1973. The time of day immediately following sunset. They finished before the fall of night. A sudden drop from an upright position. Come under, be classified or included. Fall into a category. Be inherited by. A lapse into sin. A loss of innocence or of chastity. A fall from virtue. A movement downward. The rise and fall of the tides. Assume a disappointed or sad expression. Be born, used chiefly of lambs. Be captured. Be cast down. Be due. Payments fall on the first of the month. Begin vigorously. Come out. Issue. Descend in free fall under the influence of gravity. Die, as in battle or in a hunt. Several deer have fallen to the same gun. Drop oneself to a lower or less erect position. Go as if by falling. Lose office or power. Lose one's chastity. A fallen woman. Move in a specified direction. The line of men fall forward. Occur at a specified time or place. Christmas falls on a Monday this year. Pass suddenly and passively into a state of body or mind. Fall into a trap. Slope downward. The hills around here fall towards the ocean. Suffer defeat, failure, or ruin. We must stand or fall. The lapse of mankind into sinfulness because of the sin of Adam and Eve. To be given by assignment or distribution. To be given by right or inheritance. Yield to temptation or sin. Fall or flow in a certain way. This dress hangs well. Give heed, to. Cause to be hanging or suspended. A special way of doing something. He couldn't get the hang of it. Hold on tightly or tenaciously. Hang on to your father's hands. Kill by hanging. The murderer was hanged on Friday. A gymnastic exercise performed on the rings or horizontal bar or parallel bars when the gymnast's weight is supported by the arms. Be exhibited. Picasso hangs in this new wing of the museum. Be menacing, burdensome, or oppressive. This worry hangs on my mind. Be placed in position as by a hinge. This cabinet door doesn't hang right. Be suspended or hanging. Decorate or furnish with something suspended. Let drop or droop. Place in position as by a hinge so as to allow free movement in one direction. Hang a door. Prevent from reaching a verdict, of a jury. Suspend, meat, in order to get a gamey taste. Hang the venison for a few days. The way a garment hangs. He adjusted the hang of his coat. Be suspended or poised. The monthly discharge of blood from the uterus of non-pregnant women from puberty to menopause. The semen begins to appear in males and to be emitted at the same time of life that the catamenia begin to flow in females. The monthly discharge of blood from the uterus of non-pregnant women from puberty to menopause. A woman does not take the gout unless her menses be stopped. The monthly discharge of blood from the uterus of non-pregnant women from puberty to menopause. The women were sickly and subject to excessive menstruation. The monthly discharge of blood from the uterus of non-pregnant women from puberty to menopause. Archaic, a solvent. An amount of time. A time period of 30 years. The monthly discharge of blood from the uterus of non-pregnant women from puberty to menopause. A unit of geological time during which a system of rocks formed. Ganoid fishes swarmed during the earlier geological periods. A punctuation mark, placed at the end of a declarative sentence to indicate a full stop or after abbreviations. In England they call a period a stop. Ice hockey, one of 3 divisions into which play is divided in hockey games. The end or completion of something. Death put a period to his endeavors. The interval taken to complete one cycle of a regularly repeating phenomenon. Physics, the number of changes in energy flow across a given surface per unit area. Move or progress freely as if in a stream. Mix together different elements. A state of uncertainty about what should be done, usually following some important event, preceding the establishment of a new direction of action. The flux following the death of the emperor. The lines of force surrounding a permanent magnet or a moving charged particle. A flow or discharge. Become liquid or fluid when heated. A substance added to molten metals to bond with impurities that can then be readily removed. Excessive discharge of liquid from a cavity or organ, as in watery diarrhea. In constant change. His opinions are in flux. The rate of flow of energy or particles across a given surface. The amount of fluid that flows in a given time. The amount of fluid that flows in a given time. A steady flow of a fluid, usually from natural causes. The raft floated downstream on the current. A flow of electricity through a conductor. The current was measured in amperes. Dominant course, suggestive of running water, of successive events or ideas. The current of history. Occurring in or belonging to the present time. Current events. Designed or arranged to offer the least resistance to fluid flow. The motion characteristic of fluids, liquids or gases. Undergo menstruation. General line of orientation. The river takes a southern course. Construction. A layer of masonry. A course of bricks. A connected series of events or actions or developments. The government took a firm course. As might be expected. A mode of action. If you persist in that course you will surely fail. A body of students who are taught together. Education imparted in a series of lessons or meetings. He took a course in basket weaving. Move along, of liquids. A line or route along which something travels or moves. The course of the river. Facility consisting of a circumscribed area of land or water laid out for a sport. The course had only 9 holes. Hunt with hounds. He often courses hares. Move swiftly through or over. Part of a meal served at one time. She prepared a 3-course meal. Food for domestic livestock. Take in food, used of animals only. Profit from in an exploitatory manner. He feeds on her insecurity. Give food to. Introduce continuously. Feed carrots into a food processor. Provide with fertilizers or add nutrients to. Move along, of liquids. The Missouri feeds into the Mississippi. Gratify. Feed one's eyes on a gorgeous view. Feed into. Supply. Her success feeds her vanity. Provide as food. Serve as food for. Be the food for. This dish feeds 6. Support or promote. A small stream. Have a particular form. The story or argument runs as follows. Perform as expected when applied. Does this old car still run well? Compete in a race. He is running the marathon this year. Become undone. A row of unraveled stitches. She got a run in her stocking. A score in baseball made by a runner touching all 4 bases safely. The Yankees scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th. Run, stand, or compete for an office or a position. Who's running for treasurer this year? Come unraveled or undone as if by snagging. Her nylons were running. Direct or control. Projects, businesses, etc. She is running a relief operation in the Sudan. Extend or continue for a certain period of time. The film runs 5 hours. A race between candidates for elective office. He is raising money for a Senate run. Include as the content, broadcast or publicize. Pass over, across, or through. The act of testing something. Travel a route regularly. Carry out a process or program, as on a computer or a machine. Run a new program on the Mac. Flee. Take to one's heels, cut and run. If you see this man, run. Cause something to pass or lead somewhere. Have a tendency or disposition to do or be something, be inclined. These dresses run small. Stretch out over a distance, space, time, or scope. Run or extend between 2 points or beyond a certain point. Service runs all the way to Cranberry. The act of running, traveling on foot at a fast pace. He broke into a run. Cause to emit recorded audio or video. Keep company. The heifers run with the bulls to produce offspring. Change or be different within limits. Interest rates run from 5 to 10%. Deal in illegally, such as arms or liquor. Continue to exist. A race run on foot. She broke the record for the half-mile run. An unbroken series of events. Nicholas had a run of birdies. Reduce or cause to be reduced from a solid to a liquid state, usually by heating. The pouring forth of a fluid. American football. A play in which a player attempts to carry the ball through or past the opposing team. The defensive line braced to stop the run. Be diffused. These dyes and colors are guaranteed not to run. Move along, of liquids. Progress by being changed. Run through your presentation before the meeting. Pursue for food or sport, as of wild animals. The dogs are running deer. An unbroken chronological sequence. The play had a long run on Broadway. A regular trip. The ship made its run in record time. A short trip. Take a run into town. Be affected by, be subjected to. Run at temperature. Be operating, running or functioning. The car is still running, turn it off. Carry out. Run an errand. Cause an animal to move fast. Run the dogs. Cause to perform. Run a subject. Change from one state to another. Run amok. Cover by running. Run a certain distance. Make without a miss. Move about freely and without restraint, or act as if running around in an uncontrolled way. Who are these people running around in the building? Move fast by using one's feet, with one foot off the ground at any given time. Don't run, you'll be out of breath. Occur persistently. Musical talent runs in the family. Run with the ball, in such sports as football. Sail before the wind. Set animals loose to graze. The continuous period of time during which something, a machine or a factory, operates or continues in operation. The assembly line was on a 12-hour run. The production achieved during a continuous period of operation, of a machine or factory, etc. A daily run of 100,000 gallons of paint. Travel rapidly, by any, unspecified, means. She always runs to Italy, because she has a lover there. Unrestricted freedom to use. He has the run of the house. Be the result of. The act of changing location from one place to another. Police controlled the motion of the crowd. Show, express or direct through movement. An optical illusion of motion produced by viewing a rapid succession of still pictures of a moving object. The cinema relies on apparent motion. A natural event that involves a change in the position or location of something. A formal proposal for action made to a deliberative assembly for discussion and vote. He made a motion to adjourn. The use of movements, especially of the hands, to communicate familiar or prearranged signals. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. The reflex motion of his eyebrows revealed his surprise. A state of change. They were in a state of steady motion. The act of emitting, causing to flow forth. A substance that is emitted or released. Any of several bodily processes by which substances go out of the body. The occurrence of a flow of water, as from a pipe. The release of electrons from parent atoms. Any of several bodily processes by which substances go out of the body. Remove, cargo, people, etc., from and leave. Electrical conduction through a gas in an applied electric field. Free from obligations or duties. Go off or discharge. Eliminate a substance. The termination of someone's employment, leaving them free to depart. Pronounce not guilty of criminal charges. Cause to go off. Release from military service. A substance that is emitted or released. Any of several bodily processes by which substances go out of the body. The discharge of pus. The act of discharging a gun. The act of venting. The pouring forth of a fluid. Become empty or void of its content. A formal written statement of relinquishment. Complete or carry out. Discharge one's duties. Pour forth or release. Discharge liquids. Remove the charge from. The sudden giving off of energy. Give an incentive for action. This moved me to sacrifice my career. Be in a state of action. Change location. Move, travel, or proceed, also metaphorically. The soldiers moved towards the city in an attempt to take it before night fell. The act of changing location from one place to another. The movement of people from the farms to the cities. Cause to move or shift into a new position or place, both in a concrete and in an abstract sense. The director moved more responsibilities onto his new assistant. Perform an action, or work out or perform an action. We must move quickly. The act of changing your residence or place of business. They say that 3 moves equal 1 fire. Have a turn. Make one's move in a game. Have an emotional or cognitive impact upon. Follow a procedure or take a course. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. Movement as a sign of life. Progress by being changed. Propose formally. In a debate or parliamentary meeting. Arouse sympathy or compassion in. Her fate moved us all. Change residence, affiliation, or place of employment. We moved from Idaho to Nebraska. Dispose of by selling. The chairman of the company told the salesman to move the computers. Game. A player's turn to take some action permitted by the rules of the game. Go or proceed from one point to another. The debate moved from family values to the economy. Live one's life in a specified environment. She moves in certain circles only. Move so as to change position, perform a non-translational motion. He moved his hand slightly to the right. The act of deciding to do something. He didn't make a move to help. Assign a rank or rating to. The restaurant is rated highly in the food guide. The relative speed of progress or change. He works at a great rate. Amount of a charge or payment relative to some basis. A 10-minute phone call at that rate would cost $5. Estimate the value of. How would you rate his chances to become president? A magnitude or frequency relative to a time unit. They traveled at a rate of 55 miles per hour. A quantity or amount or measure considered as a proportion of another quantity or amount or measure. The literacy rate. Be worthy of or have a certain rating. This bond rates highly. A course of reasoning aimed at demonstrating a truth or falsehood. The methodical process of logical reasoning. I can't follow your line of reasoning. A slight depression or fold in the smoothness of a surface. His face has many lines. Mechanical system in a factory whereby an article is conveyed through sites at which successive operations are performed on it. A connected series of events or actions or developments. Historians can only point out those lines for which evidence is available. The road consisting of railroad track and roadbed. A conceptual separation or distinction. There is a narrow line between sanity and insanity. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. A conductor for transmitting electrical or optical signals or electric power. The principal activity in your life that you do to earn money. He's not in my line of business. Make a mark or lines on a surface. Draw a line. Often plural, a means of communication or access. Lines of communication were set up between the two firms. The descendants of one individual. His entire lineage has been warriors. Space for one line of print, 1 column wide and 1/14 inch deep, used to measure advertising. A short personal letter. Drop me a line when you get there. A telephone connection. Be in line with, form a line along. Trees line the riverbank. The maximum credit that a customer is allowed. A particular kind of product or merchandise. A nice line of shoes. A pipe used to transport liquids or gases. A pipeline runs from the wells to the seaport. A commercial organization serving as a common carrier. Acting in conformity. In line with. A formation of people or things one behind another. The line stretched clear around the corner. A formation of people or things one beside another. The line of soldiers advanced with their bayonets fixed. A fortified position, especially one marking the most forward position of troops. They attacked the enemy's line. A length, straight or curved, without breadth or thickness, the trace of a moving point. A mark that is long relative to its width. He drew a line on the chart. A single frequency, or very narrow band, of radiation in a spectrum. A spatial location defined by a real or imaginary unidimensional extent. Cover the interior of. Line the gloves. Fill plentifully. Line one's pockets. In games or sports, a mark indicating positions or bounds of the playing area. Mark with lines. Sorrow had lined his face. Persuasive but insincere talk that is usually intended to deceive or impress. Let me show you my etchings as a rather worn line. Reinforce with fabric. Lined books are more enduring. Something, as a cord or rope, that is long and thin and flexible. A washing line. Text consisting of a row of words written across a page or computer screen. The letter consisted of 3 short lines. Change location. Move, travel, or proceed, also metaphorically. We traveled from Rome to Naples by bus. Travel upon or across. Travel the oceans. Undertake a journey or trip. A movement through space that changes the location of something. Self-propelled movement. Make a trip for pleasure. The act of going from one place to another. He enjoyed selling but he hated the travel. Travel from place to place, as for the purpose of finding work, preaching, or acting as a judge. Undergo transportation as in a vehicle. We traveled north on Route 508. A movement through space that changes the location of something. Lose blood from one's body. Kill violently. The flow of blood from a ruptured blood vessel. Lose blood from one's body. Lose blood from one's body. Draw blood. Be diffused. Drain of liquid or steam. Bleed the radiators. Get or extort money or other possessions from someone.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.